And this
What's he doing?
is to go even further beyond!
We train because we want to keep getting better, we want to keep getting stronger, we want to go even further beyond. And that's why it sucks so much when you plateau, when you hit that ceiling and you can't go any further. Your progress is denied.
You shall not pass!
Fortunately, this is just an opportunity to test your mettle and to push yourself even harder. And there are plenty of ways that you can break through those limits if you know how. In this video, we're going to explore some of the best. Okay, so the first way that you can break through a plateau, smash those limitations, is to try microplating. So microplating basically means that you're using tiny weights, like this. This is a 0.5 kilogram weight. And the idea is, let's say that you're performing your bench press and the maximum 1 rep max that you can perform is 140. Don't know why I picked that number just out of the air. But you really want to be able to do 150 kilograms this is. So what do? Well, with microplating, you add, say, 1 kilogram onto the total, and then you perform your 1 rep max, which would be the 140, but now it's 141. But you're never going to notice that 1 kilogram added to the weight, so it's fine. And then next week you go back to the gym, and on pecs day you perform another 1 rep max, this time 142 and then 143. You get the idea. Basically you're increasing the weight in such small increments that you don't notice them, but over time they of course all add up, and eventually before you know it you're doing 150 kilograms. You can actually use incremental increasements like this in all kinds of other situations as well. The famous Milgram study in psychology looked at how you can convince someone to do something awful by just pushing that line a little bit further back. They got people to electrocute participants in this study by slightly increasing the amount of the shock they were delivering. Likewise, allegedly, the myth goes that ninjas would learn to jump as high as they would by jumping over dandelions. They'd plant the dandelion, I think dandelion's the right one, I'm not a horticultural expert. They'd plant these plants in the ground and then they'd jump over them, and then the next day they'd jump over them again, etc, etc. And gradually the plant would grow, and I think if it's dandelions, these plants grow pretty high. So before they knew it, they were leaping super high, but every day they'd only had to jump not even a millimeter higher than the day before. And that way, once again, they can slowly improve their technique and jump higher and higher. Okay, and technique number 2 is going to involve my boy overcoming isometrics, and another technique called post-activation principle. So post-activation principle tells us that after you've just recruited muscles, after you've just lifted something heavy, your muscle fibers are then more potentiated, more easily excited, and that way you can recruit them more easily. You can increase your muscle fiber recruitment. So let's say you're on the bench press and you've just done 140 kilograms and then you drop down to 100 kilograms. That 100 kilograms now is going to feel very easy. That's because you're used to performing 140 kilograms, and comparatively 100 is very light. And what's actually going on here inside the muscles is that they're more easily activated, more easily engaged because you've just used them. So remember, overcoming isometrics means that you're using your maximum force against an immovable object. So that might mean pushing against a wall or pulling against a bar. And this way, you're using your strongest contraction for the maximum possible amount of time. And what you're going to do in this case is, say you're doing the bench press, you'll push against a wall as hard as you can for about 4 seconds. That's going to be long enough to excite and engage those muscle fibers, but not long enough to fatigue yourself. Then you're going to go straight to the bench press and perform your 1 rep max, and you should find that it's much more easy to recruit those muscle fibers and hopefully smash that limitation. Of course, there are many other ways you can use the post-activation principle. For instance, just doing warm-up sets can help you to build those neural pathways and also enforce your technique prior to trying a 1 rep max. Technique number 3. So for technique number 3, we're going to be looking at focusing on the muscles that might be letting you down. And this might include muscles that you hadn't thought of. So obviously, the bench press involves the pecs, the shoulders, the triceps. It also involves the serratus muscles, which you might not have thought to train. It also involves the core and even the legs if you plant your feet on the floor. So look at what might be holding you back. Likewise, what's often holding you back is grip strength. Grip strength is the weak link in many people's training. And if you don't have the strongest grip possible, then you're going to find that your grip fatigues and this tires you out, and also you start to worry you're going to drop the weight on yourself and you have to put it down even if you had more energy left in the tank. So work on your grip, train that, add that to your routine, and you should find that every single lift improves. Another tip is to contract your entire body during the exercise, and this helps to tighten that kinetic chain and make sure you're not losing any energy anywhere. So when you do the bench press, even though you might not think you're using your abs, tense them, contract everything, and that way you should have more muscle control and you're putting more energy into that bench press. Symmetry is also important, so this means you need to have the same strength on either side of your body. In the bench press in particular, it's very easy to cheat a little so that one arm is actually performing the movement slightly more than the other. You're relying on it. You might not even notice it consciously, but it can be happening. So what you need to do in this case is switch to a unilateral movement like dumbbell presses, and then this way you can't help each arm. Each arm is operating independently of the other one, and that way you'll fatigue at the same time, or one arm will tire out quicker, and you'll know that that's the side that needs work. And once you build that symmetry, that will improve your ability to perform the movement. Technique number 4 is to have a spotter with you. Now obviously a spotter is going to be very helpful because they can prevent you from dropping the weight on your head, they can give you more courage, and they can spot you through the movement if you start to struggle. But the other reason that having a spotter is so important is that they help you to lift more because you want to perform when you have someone else in the room.
You climb onto my shoulders. What? As if you're going to stand up with me on your shoulders?
That's what I'm going to do, hopefully.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Well, watch your ceiling. Don't make my head, do I?
As you can see, I'm imagining the goof.
Jesus.
Is the barbell and doing squats like so. Unconsciously, you will perform better. Studies show that our 1 rep max does increase when we're being observed. We produce presumably more hormones and neurotransmitters that tell our bodies this is an important opportunity to perform, and therefore we can engage more muscle fiber. So if you're struggling to perform your 1 rep max, create an audience, get everyone in the gym, gather around, watch me lift this crazy weight. And you might look like a fool if you drop it on yourself, but you'll probably be stronger than you ever would be before. And this is actually a really interesting area of study, and certainly something I'll be returning to in a future video, because when you have an observer, it actually increases your performance across the board. It can help to improve our social awareness, our verbal fluency, our quick thinking, our creativity, our memory. And I see this myself. When I'm talking to you on the camera here, I struggle over my words sometimes, stumble, it's normal. I have to go back and edit. But when you're talking to someone and they're there, you can just find the words and flow, and you speak so much better. So there's obviously something going on here, and you can use it to surpass your limitations in the gym. Another tip is to use supplements, and this can make a big difference sometimes. Some people get a lot of benefit from using something like a pre-workout. Personally, I don't find that helps. I go all jittery actually, and it makes me anxious. So instead, use something like creatine. Creatine will increase the amount of energy available to your muscles by allowing them to recycle ATP. And even if it doesn't improve your 1 rep max, it can certainly improve your endurance and help you to pump out more reps if that's what you're aiming to improve. And finally, take a break, take a week off, or even 2 weeks off, because often we're training in this fatigued state or this suboptimal state, we don't even realize it. Even if you have a few days to recover, there's probably still underlying damage. You're probably a little bit nervous system fatigued. You might have an underlying cold or illness, and just taking that time off and then coming back allows your body a chance to recover so that you're coming back to that attempt at your very peak performance. And at the same time, this is when the muscles grow. Often if I come back to the gym after a week off, I find that my muscles look bigger, which doesn't seem to make any sense, but of course it's because I'm recovering, I'm building up protein during rest, I'm more anabolic, and that gives my body a chance to say, let's consolidate all this hard work. So I hope some of these tips help. I hope they help you to smash those limits, to break through those boundaries, and to go even further beyond. If they did, then please leave a like, share the video around, comment down below and let me know what techniques you use to bust through your plateaus, and stay tuned for more like this, as well as videos on brain training, productivity, working online, nootropics, fitness, athletics, all that usual stuff. So if that sounds good, then thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you next time, and bye for now. Oh, and in case I don't see you before, just want to say a very happy Christmas and have a fantastic new year and the best 2018. I'll try and upload a few videos intermittently over the holiday period, but of course, you know, life gets in the way. We'll see what happens, but I'll be back in the new year with plenty more content, and I hope you have a great one until then. And thank you so much for your support and for getting behind this channel. Have a great one, and I'll see you then.